Queen Esther said, tell everybody to start fasting, praying for me for 72 hours. And I will go and do that which is dicey. I may live, I may die. But I don't care anymore. If I perish, I perish. You know the story. Call the first banquet, call the second banquet. And then the king said, Your Excellency the Queen, you don't call banquets like this. What do you want? With tears, she fell down on his feet. Said, save my life. There's a law in this land. It's been passed. And the day has been scheduled. And you have signed it. When myself and my people shall be slaughtered. And you have no more queen. The man said, what? What do you mean? He said, is this Haman that is sitting here at the table, eating my food, that orchestrated the wickedness? When the queen said that, Haman got up to kneel before the queen. The king didn't understand it like that. He said, oh, you are chasing my wife in my own presence. He called them to carry him, tie him, and take him out. He said he has even built a gallows where he hopes that some of us will be killed. He said, go and kill him there. And the queen said, what can we do about it? Because the laws cannot be changed. The only thing we can do now is that you make new laws that will counter that one. But that one cannot be changed. Took out his signet, gave to Esther. Esther consulted with intelligent people. And they came out with counter laws. Those laws are still there. They cannot be changed. On that day, if you think you have strength, go and kill the Jews. But another law was made empowering the Jews to defend themselves and to acquire weapons of any size, any type, of any strength, and begin to kill all that will try to come to kill them. Okay? And it was signed from the same gate. Those who were sharpening their knives to go and kill the Jews quickly hid their knives and then made public pronouncement that they are Jews now. They are Jews now. Do you see what one girl, one orphan, who has access to the gate and listen to the instruction of the fathers can do? In the first place, she got there by listening to instructions. She was given to guidelines by Mordecai. She followed the guidelines and she passed through. At this time again, she listened to the guidelines of the uncle, and she served the whole Israel. Till today in Israel, they still observe a day to honor the Esther who preserved their lives. What if there was no Esther? What if she didn't do what she did? That's why the church must have some people in the gates. That's why the battles are fought. The battle to kill the Jews was fought in the gate. The battle to deliver the Jews was fought in the gate. The other millions of people who were outside the gate carrying placards and saying, all we are saying, allow us to live. It didn't matter anything. So the noise you are making outside the gate does not matter. It is the one those in the gate make that matter. That's why you should be there. You say Nigeria is borrowing money. Nigeria is borrowing money. Which day did you go to borrow money from abroad? Somebody somewhere sits down and gets the papers and signs them. He keeps borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and lavishing and spending it anyhow. He doesn't consult you. So you have to be in the gate to influence what happens in your nation. In the gate to influence what happens in the various, academic gates, spiritual gates, economic gates, political gates. health gates, media gates, entertainment gates. You need to get involved. Sit down and get involved. Raise your children to get involved at the gates. It doesn't just happen. God blessed Abraham and said, your children, not you, your children shall possess the gates. God blessed Rebekah through the family. Said, your children shall possess the gates of the enemies. Now, did you prepare your children for the gates? Otherwise, as early as you could have prepared them to study courses that will give them a voice. Courses that will help them to occupy the gates. And as they were growing up, you could have added to their mentoring group of teachers and leaders those who will prepare them for the gates. And sometimes your children have even had you criticize and demonize the gates, like political gates. It's a no-go area. So your children will go and choose courses and careers that will make them servants in their own land. But the sons of rebellion, the children of the wicked, are all being groomed and positioned for the gates. The other day I spoke to a group of men, and I said to them, the third past prime minister of UK was a woman. And the father discussed with her as a girl about politics. And she said to her dad, I'll be the first woman prime minister in the UK. The father says, if God so wishes. The father was a pastor. And they began to work at it. When Margaret Thatcher became the first prime minister who was a woman, the girl was upset. He called the father. The father said, excuse me, you were not born the same day. There was an opening for a woman, and you have not arrived there. So somebody had to occupy it. Your turn is coming. Her turn came. She became the prime minister. But it was discussed between father and daughter when she was a girl. Merkel, who voluntarily handed the office of the chief executive of Germany, discussed the matter with the father when she was 16 years old. The father says, well, if you want to become the head of Germany, these are the path to follow. And she listened. Now, I want to say that there are no stars without coaches in any field of life, whether it is soccer, whether it is academics, whether it is anything. You don't become famous and get to the topmost place without a coach. The father spoke to him, told her what to do, and she listened. And then she found herself as the Chancellor of Germany, the head of state of Germany. And she was supposed to be there for 4 years and then run for another 4 years if she will pass the election. She ran for 4 years. She was so good that when she ran again, she won. She ran for another 4 years. She was so good in Germany, of all places, that she won the election every 4 years. After 16 years, she resigned. She said, there must be somebody good like me. Let somebody else come in. And thank God for the country and brains that will allow somebody else to come in. If it is in Africa, she will die in that position. She will rig the election. She will try to change the constitution. A part of the world where we behave like jungle people. Not like intelligent human beings made in God's image. But the father coached her. The father was there the first time she was sworn in. The father was there the second time she was sworn in before she passed on. And I want to speak to men. Some of you are watching me. You're not here. Some of you from Anambra State are here. How did you raise up your children? Did you tell them about gates? Did you tell them about the place of control, influence in Nigeria? Or you prayed about something you didn't demonstrate and model the importance of it is. When I started, I thanked some of you for the roles you played. Somebody gladly provided for my suite where I'm staying and 2 extra rooms for my staff because it's in a position to do that. Yes. The Kogi women were able to come in July with government vehicles because the deputy governor is in a position to release vehicles to them. And so, tell me, it is the wicked, because they have their people in these places, that they enjoy the blessings and resources God has given to you. Because you have nobody inside the gate. So those who run the gate run the economy. And they have ruined it. A high-positioned man in government told me that it's because the church refused to get involved. That's why those who have no business being where they are all over the place. And they take decisions. They take decisions. I flew in from Abuja, and a man met me that there is a committee to decide about Nigeria from the year 2023. They are 16 in number. Only 2 are Christians. 14 belong to the wicked camp. So if they will go by voting, what do you think the 2 will do? The battles are fought at the gates. Battles are fought at the gates. Let me just mention a few characters before I throw more challenges to you. Why do you think that Nehemiah was able to go and rebuild the broken walls of Jerusalem and the burnt gates? It was because he was at the gate. He had access to the king. And the king, when he found favor before the king, he was empowered with money, with resources. And the king gave instruction to the governors in the provinces to release everything he needed to build. And the Bible says in 52 days, he built what takes years to build. Why? He had materials. He had support. He had resources. And it was because he was in the gate. If he wasn't inside there, there's no way he could come from outside, have access to the king, get access to his heart, and get those things done. No way. So when you read about people in the Bible and the great things they did, it was because they had access to the gates. They did have access to the gates. And I want to say, even Daniel. You read about Daniel, you read about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. There were millions that lived in their time. You don't know their names. They don't even have a name. Don't even have a name. Why do they have a name? From chapter 1, we are told that when they arrived as captives, they were selected, sent to a training on how to become government people. And they excelled. And in every exam, they were 10 times than every other person. So they were selected to serve in the government. All right. So if they cough, it shakes the country. When Shadrach and Abednego said in Daniel chapter 3 that, King, may we tell you, sir, we will not serve your king. we will not worship your image. Now, it bothered the king. It shook him. And it was news. It was news. Because of the people who said they will not worship his image. You know. It was something that was on news. Because the people talking are those who make the news. Daniel chapter 3, verse 18. But let me start from verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If that is the case, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us from your hand, O king. But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the gold image which you have set up. Ordinary people no fit talk like that. Now they hear what I talk. From the countryside where I come from, with the talk broken. Ordinary people, the commoners, cannot speak to the king like that. Daniel had mentored these people. Babylon had raised them as princes. And they could talk like that. And God being with them, they succeeded. They changed everything in the whole of Babylon. 3 people. Babylon had 127 countries under them at that time. They called provinces, but are now nations. 3 people. We are so many here that we can bring about so many changes if we had our presence at the gates and if we stayed connected with those who can advise us and help us. Sometimes we pray for people, they get into governance, and sometimes they see money, they see power, they forget where they are coming from. So when these 3 won the battle at the gates, they took the whole provinces of Babylon. One day,